Hello, everyone. Welcome back to a journey of holistic self-improvement through books. There's a saying, a happy life is a string of correct daily choices. Every day, our brains are constantly making decisions or preparing to choose. From simple, trivial things like choosing to stay up late or wake up early, eating fast food or healthy meals, reading a book or playing a game, to larger decisions like what we should do, how we should live, and who we should become. However, there are many times in life when we know exactly what we should do, even making commitments to change, but ultimately choose things that leave us full of regret. We know we want to lose weight, but can't resist a hot pot and grill feast filled with our favorite dishes. We know we need to go to bed early, but fail against the phone in our hands. We know procrastination is bad, but still delay, only to rush to complete work at the last minute. Day after day, you are constantly swept away, losing yourself to wrong decisions. So, what power is controlling your behavior? Why is our willpower so weak? Perhaps you might think it's because you lack discipline, self-control, or reason. But these reasons are only superficial. If you want discipline, success, and a fulfilling life, you cannot start by forcing yourself to be rational or strong-willed. From the perspective of countless daily decisions and throughout an entire life, happiness is simply a choice, the ability to choose. The book we're exploring today is The Happiness Hypothesis by Jonathan Haidt, a renowned psychologist and a great thinker who pioneered positive psychology. He will tell you that the true, deeper reason your willpower is weak and you often lack the ability to choose happiness is because you haven't truly understood that within you, two psychological control systems are operating simultaneously: the enormous elephant and the tiny rider. This book combines knowledge from various fields such as psychology, philosophy, sociology, religion, ethics, and anthropology. It also uses research findings from modern neuroscience and social psychology to test ancient hypotheses about happiness. It has been enthusiastically recommended by famous psychologists like Martin Seligman, Barry Schwartz, and Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi, the author of Flow, a book I deeply admire and have previously introduced, as well as by many newspapers like People and the Times Asterisk. The Elephant and the Rider is not just a book about happiness, psychology, and personal development. It is also a story about the mind and spirit within you. Understanding it will help you know how to navigate the right path towards a truly happy life. Now, let's delve into today's insights. We are only the rider, not the ruler of the elephant asterisk. How does our psychological elephant operate? Buddha once taught, previously, this mind wandered freely, chasing desires and pleasures. Now I rein it in just as a mahout uses a hook to guide an elephant. From the very beginning, Buddha likened the human psyche to a wild elephant, freely indulging its desires. Yet humans can still become the rider, holding the reins to guide the massive elephant, even when it is angry, impulsive, and full of attachments. We can still control it. In this sense, our soul and instincts are like a wild elephant, while our reason is the elephant's rider. This analogy is used by the author throughout the book and in his decade of research and teaching. In recent years, social sciences have always asserted that humans are rational individuals, capable of using available resources to set and achieve goals. However, reality isn't always like that. Take myself as an example. Sometimes I promise to wake up early to continue writing by 6 a.m., but when the alarm rings, I still turn it off and go back to sleep. The author tells us that, in reality, greed, selfishness, fear, and the love of comfort often triumph over our reason. Only when the elephant has no will of its own can we control and win. But once the elephant wants to do something, we often lose control. Therefore, if we keep trying to follow the trend of social science, insisting on disciplined self-training while neglecting to understand the heart, instincts, and nature of the elephant within us, it will be very difficult to achieve unity between mind and spirit and thus attain the life we desire. This is because human rationality actually operates based on emotion. Only when the brain is filled with emotion does rationality become effective. Furthermore, research indicates that human psychology is an incredibly complex process. It can be divided into 4 parts: mind and body, left brain and right brain, emotion and reason, controlled and automatic systems, and these are constantly in conflict. This is precisely why you feel fragmented. The first division is the frequent conflict between our body and mind. A French philosopher pointed out that every part of our body has its own emotions and perspectives. Therefore, sometimes your conscious mind cannot control your body's reactions. The second division is the lack of cooperation between the left and right brain. The left brain is the writer, and the right brain is the elephant. But the left brain often deceives the right brain. The language processing center of the left brain is excellent at creating reasons, including unreasonable ones. The writer, even if it doesn't understand the reason, can still naturally issue commands to the elephant. Finally, and most importantly, the division is also evident in the controlled and automatic systems. The automatic system is the elephant. It represents instinctive reactions, emotions, and intuition. However, the elephant is often controlled by desires and temptations. It holds the button that activates dopamine, the happy hormone, making you do things that excite you. Yet, in reality, the more attractive something is, the more harmful it can be. That's why the elephant within you does whatever it pleases. Scrolling through your phone for hours, excessive use of caffeine, tobacco, sex, or sweets, etc. These things stimulate a lot of dopamine, but can easily lead to overindulgence and then leave you feeling empty. At this point, the controlled system, the writer, steps in. The writer represents deep thoughts, long-term vision, and long-term plans. However, the problem here is that the writer can only act as an advisor, offering counsel to the elephant, but cannot completely control its behavior. In summary, we are the writer, but not the ruler of the elephant. You and I are not kings. We can only advise the elephant on how to act. So, how should we advise it? The next section will open 7 doors for you to perceive and understand the magnificent elephant within you, thereby helping you learn how to harmonize with the elephant and become its conductor on the true path to your own happiness. Understanding and harmonizing with the elephant within you. Door 1, the elephant acts based on a likability meter. Consider this experiment. A monkey tries a fruit it has never tasted before. If the fruit is sweet, the monkey feels happy, immediately eats a large bite, and its likability meter displays, "I like it." Conversely, if the fruit is bitter, it feels unhappy and never bites again. The elephant within us always has a likability meter, and most of its actions are decided based on this meter. In psychology, this is also called the affective priming effect. When the elephant sees words like hope, play, entertainment, it processes them quickly and feels happy. But when it sees words like death, loss, boredom, it immediately has negative reactions. At this point, the writer might say, "Isn't this normal? Everyone has things they like and dislike." Yes, but let's think a bit deeper with questions like these. What kind of work do you like? Where do you want to live? What kind of life partner do you seek? What kind of life do you want to live? For these important, fate-related questions, can the writer easily say, "Let the elephant decide instinctively"? Of course not. You need to be aware that the elephant and writer of the 21st century live in an overly vast and chaotic information environment. It's very difficult to know what you truly need. Like or dislike is the primary way the elephant filters and evaluates content. If the writer doesn't focus on observing and paying attention, they might get lost in illusions created by the elephant, where everything around seems easily likable. Gradually, the writer will lose the rationality they should possess. Roman Emperor Marcus Aurelius once said, "The entire universe is constantly changing. What you think life is, that's what it is." Life is truly what we think it is. However, in reality, our thoughts often form quickly and unconsciously. Be cautious when the elephant bellows, "Only buy brands I like, only watch content I like, only interact with people I like, only live in the house I like." Therefore, observe yourself carefully. Take a moment to re-examine what you like and dislike, and distinguish between illusion and true preference. Door 2, negative bias based on species design principles. In the animal kingdom, an animal's reaction to bad things is stronger than to good things. This is also true for the elephant within you. We tend to be more sensitive to negative things. Humans pay more attention to negative information and events, reacting to them faster, stronger, and longer than to positive ones. For example, upon hearing good news, the elephant might only react for a moment, but upon hearing bad news, it will experience prolonged fear and cannot calm down for a period. Negative bias is extremely dangerous. When the elephant focuses too much on negative information, creating negative reactions, if it doesn't receive stable comfort or encouragement, you will become unusually distressed. As Benjamin Franklin said, we can distinctly feel a little pain, but when healthy, we feel nothing at all. Door 3, self-righteousness. Here the elephant says, "What I see is right. Others should feel the same way I do." The writer replies, "Exactly, I can only believe what I see." The elephant continues, "I like reading about entertainment industry scandals." The writer agrees, "Occasionally reading gossip isn't bad." The elephant asserts, "I can judge others and myself objectively." The writer responds, "Of course, as long as I want to." Do you feel something is amiss when you hear this dialogue? In reality, this is a sign of self-righteousness from both the elephant and the writer. There are many forms of thinking I am right. For example, people like reading gossip because it allows them to easily judge others based on their own values and feel morally superior. This is moral superiority bias, or those with naive realism strongly believe that the world I see and feel is the most real, and others should agree with my view. Such people think they are unbiased, but in reality, they don't know that their personal viewpoint is a form of egoistic bias or an unconscious narcissistic mindset, easily spotting others' small faults but ignoring their own. You don't seek internal causes and overlook your own shortcomings. As the Gospel of Matthew says, "Why do you look at the speck of sawdust in your brother's eye and pay no attention to the plank in your own eye?" Psychologist David Dunning once conducted an experiment. People consistently overestimate their own good deeds while judging others' behavior very objectively. When judging others, we base it on reality, but when judging ourselves, we do the opposite. We often unconsciously associate ourselves with beautiful virtues, then seek advantages for ourselves, and think, "I'm really good." Then we fall into a state of self-satisfaction and narcissism. The same happens when we make mistakes. We try our best to become a lawyer, finding every possible reason to strongly defend ourselves. And you must know that these instinctive psychologies can cause you trouble in cooperating with others, because you will always believe, "I am better than others," and then feel more deserving. At this point, please ask the writer within you, what kind of person do you want to become? Both the elephant and the writer need to re-examine themselves based on 3 principles. 1. Everyone is equal. 2. The world is constructed from my understanding, but that is not necessarily the truth. 3. I need to open myself up to truly understand myself. Door 4. Reciprocity. Next, at the important 4th door, we will see that the elephant has an instinctive reaction that always erupts naturally. You scratch my back, I'll scratch yours. When someone treats us well and benefits us, we want to reciprocate and benefit them. But conversely, another side of this very instinct leads to cruelty. An eye for an eye, avenge grievances, blood for blood, and so on. In the soul of every elephant, there is always a strong moral emotion called justice and integrity. That's why when we watch movies, we always hope that villains are punished and good people are rewarded. From a psychological perspective, reciprocity stems from our inherent tendency to imitate. When we are close to someone we like, we unconsciously imitate the way they talk, walk, and even think. We also like those who imitate us and treat them more kindly, because imitation is a way of showing that we are part of the same group. Our herd nature is deeply etched in our genes. Knowing this instinct of reciprocity within the elephant, we need to see ourselves more clearly in relationships. Do not let resentment or bias lead to wrong actions. We can also use the instinct of reciprocity as a balance in relationships between friends and lovers. It is important to note that this balance always needs equilibrium and boundaries. Giving too much or too little from the start can also be a destructive factor in any relationship. Giving gifts correctly and helping each other sincerely can greatly enhance relationships. And remember, the teaching from thousands of years ago by Confucius always serves as a basic guiding principle for us throughout life. Do not do to others what you do not want done to yourself. Door 5. Greed and conspicuous consumption. You will clearly see the greed that is always present in your elephant. Let's go back to the elephant's likeability meter for different objects. It always marks like with a good feeling or dislike with disgust. Then it reports this result to the rider. The rider is very willing to find something the elephant likes to satisfy itself. This process repeats daily to the point where the rider forms a specific tendency. Whatever the elephant wants, the rider will provide it. When it cannot satisfy the elephant, the rider also starts to get annoyed because it cannot satisfy itself. Socrates once said, "On this world it is strange, there are so many things I do not need." The obsession with material possessions often makes the rider its prisoner. We need to know that like and dislike are sometimes not important. What you truly need to pay attention to is, I need, or I don't need. From the greed within the elephant, both the rider and the elephant begin to engage in conspicuous consumption. That is, consuming products solely for others to see, using them as symbols of personal status and reputation. The value of an item comes not from its objective material worth, but from the assessment of those around them. If the rider grows up in a comparative environment where people praise wealth and intelligence while despising poverty and low education, the rider growing up will inevitably be influenced by this environment and always want to be nobler and superior in everything. The elephant also gets used to conspicuous consumption, solely to enhance its reputation. But the irony is that trying to appear and truly becoming are two entirely different concepts. Conspicuous consumption only makes the rider appear to live for outward show, not truly become. The act of becoming a slave to consumption has been thoroughly analyzed in previous discussions. In summary, by understanding this psychology of the elephant and the rider, we should not avoid consumption, but instead reevaluate our spending goals. Consume without showing off, that is, consume something based on the product's value, not to display personal status or put on a show for oneself. Door 6. Excessive self-esteem. Next, we will step through door 6 to see excessive self-esteem in every elephant. The elephant is easily offended and fiercely protective of its self-respect. It won't care if it hurts others. At this point, the elephant pushes the rider to express emotions in its way. Conversely, excessively weak self-esteem leads to a lack of confidence, and the elephant often finds fault in itself and self-criticizes when encountering difficulties. The first reaction is usually not to overcome it, but to retreat or freeze. The book suggests a way to build healthy self-esteem. Learn a skill that you are capable of performing, and that makes you feel proud. Door 7. The paradox of choice asterisk. Finally, the 7th door for reflection is the paradox of choice. As I mentioned at the beginning, happiness is a choice, but choice always has its paradox. Too many choices often make us less happy. Many people still think, I must earn a lot of money and gain a lot of power to have many choices and be in control. Humans always overestimate the value of having many choices for themselves. I have to try hard to get into this major, so I'll have many career options after graduation. Or, you need to work for a good company to have the opportunity to find a good partner in the future. We've heard countless pieces of advice like this. You need to know that happiness is a choice and also a type of ability, the ability to choose correctly and reasonably. Many choices are not always a good thing. An indecisive person will always be indecisive, and someone trying to weigh benefits will find it difficult to weigh all benefits. The important thing on the path the elephant is taking is not how many crossroads it faces or how many choices it has, but ensuring that the elephant can move forward. Most importantly, it's not about focusing on the options available, but about acting to choose. We have now walked through 7 doors to better understand the elephant within you. In the final part, let's explore how to become a rider, how not to blindly follow instinct, but still walk the right path originating from the heart to reach happiness. I have summarized 2 important steps from the book. Step 1. Cooperate with the elephant asterisk. As analyzed above, the most important thing is to first recognize the relationship between the elephant and the rider. We must admit that no one is perfect. Both the elephant and the rider have weaknesses to some extent. Accept these flaws as part of your holistic self. This means accepting yourself and looking directly at your true self. The author also states that we are a combination of the rider and the elephant. To control the elephant, willpower alone is not enough. We must find a way to cooperate with it, because our mental health and quality of life depend on this very cooperation. Facing our weak will, we can also learn from Buddha by avoiding sources of temptation that create discomfort, or by not looking, not listening, not thinking about things that activate dopamine from the elephant's likeability meter. Buddha sought to overcome human weakness before desire by intensely contemplating decaying corpses. Similarly, we can look at the leftover broth at a hot pot restaurant to avoid overeating when we want to lose weight. Simply aiming for something that our automatic system dislikes, we can gradually change the elephant's desires and control it better. You need to remember that the elephant always holds immense power and motivation, but the only way to guide these motivations onto the right path is for the rider to continuously reflect and re-examine themselves. So, what should we re-examine first? Review your automatic thoughts and behaviors. For example, when you get home after dinner, do you lie down and scroll on your phone for hours? Before bed, do you watch movies or play games late into the night? Then, identify irrational beliefs within you. Exaggeration, overthinking, personalization, and biased thinking in daily life. Set action goals for yourself instead of psychological goals. Step 2. Use the happiness equation asterisk. Positive psychology offers a happiness equation, H equals S plus C plus V, where H is the enduring level of authentic happiness. S is the set range of satisfaction due to inborn factors. C refers to living conditions. V represents factors that can be controlled voluntarily. You will see that for lasting happiness, all three factors, genetics, living conditions, and controllable things, need to be combined. However, the first two factors are things we cannot decide. Living conditions, mainly money, gender, age, and place of residence, are things that persist for a long time, so we can only adapt to them. The only thing we can change is the controllable factors. This is similar to Stoicism. Change what is within your control and accept what is not. The author has provided some helpful advice for us to adjust external factors to enhance happiness. First, noise. This is something that causes distress, and we never truly adapt to it. Therefore, it is better to live in a quiet place. After that, we need to reduce commuting time, reduce work, earn less money, and reduce accumulation of possessions. Furthermore, learn new knowledge, experiment with new things, and spend more time with family, rest more, and participate in activities beneficial for both body and mind. Next, practice meditation and enhance flow, experiences absolute focus, forgetting time and the present activity. Finally, human relationships are a crucial factor affecting our happiness. If you have an annoying friend or colleague, or live with an incompatible partner for a long time, it is very difficult to achieve happiness because we cannot adapt to human conflict. Therefore, carefully nurture your relationships, learn to cultivate love, kinship, and friendship to enrich your life instead of isolating yourself within a shell of hurt. Additionally, if you face mental difficulties, try to find psychological recovery methods such as reflection, self-awareness, and seeking help. You can write down your emotions, the lessons learned from those experiences, and the underlying causes of daily events. This can help you find meaning in events and resolve difficulties more wisely. These are the most essential insights I have drawn from this famous psychology book. The elephant is a powerful resource within you. It is the hidden, untapped potential of your subconscious. As the rider of the elephant, we don't need to be too harsh with the elephant's natural behavior. Be a friend to your elephant so you can say to it, "Hello, my elephant. I understand your existence. Now, let's discuss our future together." I hope that both you and I, as riders facing all temptations and desires, all the weaknesses of instinct, can accept, embrace, and harmonize with the elephant within us, so that in the end, you can become a unified, clear-headed being, moving forward to where true happiness always resides.